Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, the Home Means Nevada initiative is launched to create much-needed affordable housing in our valley, and learn about another initiative aimed at eliminating all fatal accidents and injuries on our roads. That's a good thing. Here to talk about all this and a lot more is our councilman who represents Ward 1. You know who it is, Mr. Brian Knudsen. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on the program. You know Ward 1 like the back of your hand. It's your stomping ground. But for those out there that don't know exactly where Ward 1 is located, let's show them. These are the new ward boundaries. These changed at the end of last year, but this is the current boundary of Ward 1. Very interesting. Goes all the way from right near our downtown area all the way out to the northwest. So you got a little bit of everything kind of on the south and west side of US 95.
That's true, and I'm learning about the new parts of my ward every day now. Met with a constituent this morning for coffee, so lots of good things happening in the northwest part of the ward.
Exactly. Your ward comes right up to
Cheyenne.
Exactly now. So out there, Washington, Buffalo area, Buffalo, Lake Mead area, all in your...
It's all Ward 1.
Exactly. We're going to talk about all of that too. In fact, there's a new business out there we're going to talk about. But one of the pressing issues for you and all the council members, and I'm no surprise to anyone out there, is just the lack of affordable housing right now here in Las Vegas. Especially too, mortgages have really gone up. The price of a new home. Rent has gone up astronomically. And that's tough for people who are kind of used to paying one rate, and now all of a sudden their rent's gone up astronomically, but their pay hasn't increased to keep up. It's creating a real dynamic, isn't it?
It feels different than it did in 2008 because there was that big housing bubble when everything was great and housing prices were amazing. There were still apartments for people to go into. It feels different this time because there isn't apartments for people to go into, and the rent that's being charged is not attainable for a lot of our service industry folks. Definitely not attainable for first-year teachers or first-year police officers or first-year firefighters. And so that's where this investment of funding from the government to develop more housing is absolutely critical at this point.
Talk about that, Councilman. It's called the Home Means Nevada Initiative. Explain what that is. People may have heard about it, but maybe not know what the details are.
So it's the governor's initiative. It's $250 million. It was passed out of the legislature. It's available now through organizations to try to buy land, try to buy building materials, try to do everything they need to do. It's really critical because you need local government and you need funding from the federal government in order to build some of these housing units. And it's not what people think. It's not the projects or Section 8. And I know people kind of have this automatic assumption around what that is. But what it is it's housing for, like I said, teachers, firefighters, police officers, apartment complexes that can house those folks that need to establish themselves in their careers, or people who are retired. And we should really focus in on seniors who are being pushed out of their apartments because they can no longer afford to live there. Their income's fixed. There's nowhere else for them to go. And if we want to avoid a more significant homeless crisis, we already have one. If we want to avoid that getting exacerbated in the future, we have got to build more units. And that supply and demand, if we build more, it's going to help moderate the prices a little bit.
Right, exactly. That's part of the problem right now is that there aren't enough units, whether you're buying a house or trying to rent. So that's one of the reasons that rent and mortgage rates, prices of houses have just increased so much.
And our population's increasing every day, every hour, where we have people moving into Las Vegas. So we're at least a couple of years out from a lot of these housing units being developed. So it's going to be a rough couple of years, and that's incumbent upon us as government to look at the future and try to build out for what our future community needs.
You've sounded the alarm on this, as well as some of your other colleagues on the city council, that we really need to get going on this. The time to take care of this is now, because it's not like you're just going to build a bunch of new places to live overnight. It's going to take a while for us to catch up. So
in every council meeting, we're approving new apartment complexes. Terrifying for people in our community, and I understand that, and we talk about this on every show. But we're going to have to get more dense if we need to fit more people into our community. We're a valley. We're kind of landlocked. It's going to have to go up. We're going to have more density in order to fit folks in. At prices that they can afford to live here.
And these are people who have good jobs. They're just not making an astronomical amount of money. They're not making huge money, but they have good jobs.
Very few people can afford to buy a house here right now. I mean, it's people coming in who sold their house in California, for example, and can afford to put 25% over the asking price in cash down. I mean, that's, for a Las Vegan, that's just not realistic.
Right.
And so if someone's looking to start a new job and start a new adventure, or they're coming out of college, like, we have to provide for them as well.
Yeah. If you have questions about that, you'd like to learn more about the Home Means Nevada initiative, you can obviously contact the councilman's office. We'll have a lot of contact information before the end of the show, and he can kind of bring you up to speed on everything that's going on and what the potential offerings would be if you're kind of caught in that area where you just really are having a hard time trying to find a place to live. Councilman loved this. We love when new businesses open, especially through the pandemic, and you posted this on Facebook. Congratulations to Slater's 50/50 owner, Andy Kao, on the opening of a second location. And I love this because this location is not far from my house at all, and we've already checked it out. So yeah, Slater's 50/50 is used to be where the Osaka Japanese restaurant was, and Slater's 50/50 has moved in there.
I love when people invite me to go and have lunch. I love lunch. But it was funny, I walked in and I said, what made you start the business? And he said he has 2 young children and he needed a place that wasn't quiet enough where you can bring kids, and it's not loud enough where it scares the kids, so just the right amount of music. And I completely understand what he means, because there's very few places that you can bring a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and have a nice dinner and not drive everyone else around you crazy.
You know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, so the venue is perfect because the music is just loud enough. You can have children there, but they're not going to drive everyone else in the restaurant crazy.
Yeah.
And delicious food, very not healthy at all. But delicious. Delicious food.
And this, by the way, is located on Lake Mead, just east of Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, the reason the name 50/50, what it means is that his burgers are 50% bacon and 50% beef. They're delicious.
Yes.
I know, not the most.
If you're on a diet, it's not the place for you. But if you have kids, you're probably not on a diet. So go and indulge and have a good time.
So that's the 50/50 on the one side, and then he also has 50 beers on tap there too. So that's where the name Slater's 50/50 comes from. And yeah, it's very, very good food. Eat light before you go there, because you're gonna eat a lot while you're there. So welcome to the neighborhood, Andy and family, and I wish you the best of luck. And then, Councilman, you had an event back on March 28th, books and basketball event. I'm really not sure exactly what all this was, but tell us about this. It sounds like a pretty cool thing.
So this is interesting for me. It's a Sage Charter School. They're recruiting families in the area, and I see this more and more often. Not everybody, lots of people in Ward 1 are struggling with school options. So go to CCSD, go to a private school, go to a public school, homeschool. The pandemic changed how we think about everything. So the old Elks Lodge, that's right off of there at Charleston and Hinson, just west of Decatur. That building is being converted into a charter school. It's Sage Collegiate, and they're out recruiting in the immediate area, trying to get kids from the immediate area to be in that school. I know, because I live in that area, there's lots of families that are interested. And so that books and basketball was an event to kind of let people know that there's a new school coming into Ward 1. That's
a big facility too. There's a lot of room there.
It's a large facility, and Cragen Park is right behind it. And so there's nice public space, and the city's going to be investing into making that a bigger and better park, which I'll be excited to announce on a future show. There's the fire station right there. There's the kids' playground right there. And then the charter school company that Sage Collegiate has bought and will be purchasing some more land around there to build out a K-12 program. So I think it's a great opportunity for Ward 1 to think about education and how we get kids educated.
You know, I didn't know what was going to happen with the old Elks building. I didn't know, and now I do. So that's very interesting.
Yes, I think it'll be a great location for a school.
Are they trying to have classes this fall?
They will have classes this fall.
Well,
yeah.
Coming right
and
up.
the city started a charter school, or started a nonprofit to start a charter school. So there's going to be a lot of education options in the community, and
people, like you said, people are asking for that.
Yeah, you got to be responsive to the community, and that's what the community is demanding right now.
How about that? That's right. Councilman, I love this too. Lots of things going on in Ward 1, and you posted this on Facebook. You said, "Take me out to the ball game." Happy to kick off the Little League season at Doc Romeo Park. Doc Romeo Park, great park, kind of near Cheyenne and Buffalo, in that area. And it's a classic out there. And look at you. Did you throw out the first pitch? Is that the deal?
No, my husband won't let me throw out a first pitch. He's afraid that I'll embarrass myself and the family. But I did. There was no microphone that was broken that day, so I ran to the adults. They couldn't hear a single thing I was saying, which was super fun for me. And then I ran to all the kids, because there's like 150 kids, and I get along great with kids. And so I was able to rile all the kids up, and it was a great event and super fun for me.
So, so there you go, everyone. That's called making an adjustment on the fly. No microphone, no problem. I'll just run around and I'll make sure everybody can hear
I can
me,
make a fool of myself with the best of them. But throwing a pitch, my husband has laid the line down. Don't do that.
Well, you know, that's not gone well for some people, but I just have a hunch that you could fire one in there and be good.
I would practice for several days before.
You know,
I'd make myself look good.
I'd help you if need be. I think I got confidence in you. I think you could do it. So. And then one of our great partners out there, Get Outdoors Nevada, they're just always doing stuff with the city, helping us and bringing out the volunteers and their different members. There was an Earth Day event that took place at Firefighters Memorial Park on March 23rd. Was it a cleanup? Is it a big cleanup there?
No, this was Las Vegas Day School. They're celebrating their 60 years, and the Dossler family decided to donate 60 trees to the city of Las Vegas. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm going to. One of our city employees, Brad Dossler, he's the son of Dossler of the Las Vegas Day School. And so they organized and had the trees planted, and 8th grade class came out and planted all the trees with support from the city. So 60 new trees to help with our tree canopy.
Very nice.
At a Ward 1 park, and it's a great partnership, and thanks to city employees like Brad Dossler that make all the connections, and Las Vegas Day School, thanks to them.
Yeah, that's very good. Las Vegas is a Tree City, USA. People are surprised to hear that, but it's our commitment to do just what Councilman's talking about, is to make sure that we keep trees and that tree canopy ever present and growing within our growing city. So.
And that was a group of 8th graders that did that, the Honor Club, and so I do love being around the kids, so 8th graders are a little bit more challenging for me to be with, so I was super creative in how I engage them.
Your kids will be there.
I scored an A
in
that one.
Yeah. So very good, very good. And then speaking of cleanups, you posted this on Facebook. You said, thank you to everyone who joined our Essex Park cleanup in Ward 1. And Councilman, tell everybody, Essex Park is located about where?
If you go off of Charleston, right around, let's see, Hinson, and you drive in, there's a really cute neighborhood, and then in the middle of the neighborhood, there's a circle park. It's not Circle Park, it's a circle, and it's called Essex Park.
Right.
So there's a little playground area, and there's just a nice walking path around it. And so we had some neighbors come out, some volunteers, and we painted the red curbs around the circle, and then cleaned up the interior of the circle. And then we also, the most successful thing I've done, too successful actually, is worked with our community services and Republic Services to put dumpsters out near there. And that becomes an instant magnet for people to come and get rid of their large items that they can't normally get rid of through the garbage service.
Very good.
And so those things are super popular. So park cleanups and neighborhood cleanups and dumpster giveaways. I don't know what to call them. A place to give away your big trash. So super fun things for me to do.
Excellent. And Councilman, we should tell everyone out there, we're always looking for volunteers for different projects, cleanups. We're always engaged with the community in those things, and especially in an opportunity to just spruce up our neighborhoods, get everybody out to do that. You've been really leading the charge. So yeah, I mean,
I always tell people, like, come on out and invest in cleaning up your neighborhood, but more importantly, get to know your neighbors. Talk to people, find out what the issues are. It makes the world a lot safer, one, but also as an elected official, the world seems a bit crazy to me at times, and so it's helpful to talk to people and see what people are really thinking about, because social media doesn't really tell you what they're thinking about. You get out and you start painting a curb, or you're picking up trash.
And start talking.
And people, you get past all the superficial stuff, and you start talking about what people are really thinking about when they're in the middle of the night or when they're over their family dinner. And generally, we're all pretty much the same. We're all caring about the same thing. So that makes me feel good about the world around me.
Exactly. So again, if you're interested maybe in getting the neighbors in your neighborhood organized for a cleanup, maybe it's to get out and maybe work in a park, clean up a park, spruce up a park near where you live. City maintenance crews, they do a great job, but they can't get to every little detail in the park. You bring 50 volunteers out, or 25 or 100 volunteers, it makes a big difference. Go through the park. So again, you can reach out to the councilman's office. Love to hear from you, and you'll find a project for them, right?
There's lots of parks.
Right,
so we've done lots of parks. We'll continue to do more and more parks and neighborhoods.
And we hear from Eagle Scouts and different church groups that want to get out and they need service hours. And whatever the reason, we'll put you to work.
Yeah,
and,
there's always something to do.
Exactly. Love to hear from you. So, alrighty. Well, Councilman, now we need to take a short break. But when we return, we tell you what the city is doing to help make our roads safer. That's next. So please stay with us.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Welcome back, everyone. The city has developed a Vision Zero action plan, which aims at eliminating all traffic fatalities and severe injuries. With us today to tell us more about all of this is Joey Paskey, who's the transportation manager and the city's traffic engineering. She's one of the rock stars, Councilman, as we know here at the city. Great at her job. Joey, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I thought we'd start off, maybe explain to everybody what the transportation manager / city traffic engineer, what are your responsibilities and duties?
Certainly, well, actually aligns really well with the Vision Zero. Is safety is at the forefront of everything that we do in the transportation division. So my team consists of about 90 employees,
wow.
20 of whom work here at City Halls, engineers and technicians, and they do everything from transportation planning, design, funding. They do private development coordination and also transportation operations analysis. Then we have another 70 engineers and technicians that work at our east and west yards, and they do a whole host of things. They operate and maintain our traffic signal systems, our street lights, our roadway signs, and our pavement markings. Wow. They review all of the temporary traffic control permits, which is also our work zone permits. They do all of our utility line locating, and they operate the traffic signal systems and the operations.
Wow. And Joey, how long have you been a city employee now? How long have you been
just
with
about 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we stole her in here. Joey, tell everybody real quickly about your background. This is your thing. This is traffic and traffic safety is your thing.
Traffic and traffic safety is my thing. I came from the private side. This is my first foray into the public sector. I'm loving every minute of it. So I came from the public sector. I worked on large design build projects, got to work here on Project Neon. I came from a large design build in the East Coast, though, a light rail project called the Purple Line.
And you're an engineer by trade,
I'm an engineer by trade,
exactly,
yes.
Exactly.
Civil engineer.
And Councilman, I know every time you have a neighborhood meeting, every time there's an opportunity to discuss what's going on in the city with the neighbors and the constituents, you hear about traffic. Traffic is such a key thing, right?
Every single time. And I say the same thing that you just did, is Joey's the rock star. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a traffic person, but the city has the best and the brightest. And I can say that since no county commissioner is watching this right now, hopefully, but the county commissioners actually called me because they're trying to figure out a way to get Joey to come over to the county.
No, we don't.
And I said it's not allowed.
No.
Because every single meeting I go to, everyone is going to ask me about traffic humps, speed humps, lowering the speed limit, stop signs, yield signs, flashing lights, all of it. I'm used to all of those questions right now. Everyone's scared of traffic, especially right now. And every single time I say, Joey's the right person.
She is.
And I call Joey, I text Joey, I email Joey, and she immediately responds. And just as an example, this morning I met with a constituent and had coffee with him. He was actually bringing something to light, saying the traffic signals on Alta and Rainbow were off. He just felt they were off. And that's good feelings are great things, you never know. So I called Joey, and within a day, everything was fixed. And so Joey's the rock star. So for all of the neighborhoods that have traffic issues, I always say, don't ask a council person to do it, because I don't know. You want someone who's experienced and educated and knows what they're doing. Yep. And so I call on Joey, and she's been absolutely phenomenal for the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, she's done a great job here, no question, and I think we're all in agreement on that. Joey, now we talked about this Vision Zero initiative. It seems like that's a great time for it, because I don't know if it's my perception, but it seems like the number of fatal accidents in the valley, it seems like there's one virtually every day, and it's a scary thing. I don't know if it's a result of the pandemic, that people are trying to get out more. I don't know what's changed, but it just seems like all of a sudden people are driving faster. I know Metro's been concerned about that. And so we're trying to do our part, right, to try to limit that number of fatal accidents.
Absolutely, and it's not an illusion. It actually is. It is getting worse. We have traffic fatality in city limits just about once a week. We've had 13 to date so far in 2022. Wow. We had 37 in 2021, 30 of which had impaired drivers. And even one's too many, so we really need to do something.
And what Joey's talking about is just within the city limits of the city of Las Vegas, not the valley as a whole. Of course, those accidents are occurring as well. So
they are, but it is definitely something that we need to get a handle on, which is why we have, over the course of the last year, really started developing what we call a Vision Zero action plan. And as you mentioned, Vision Zero is a strategy to eliminate traffic fatalities and serious injuries. So we have been putting together an actionable plan with measurable steps, along with our county peers, community partners, people from your offices and other offices within the city. We meet about every other month, and we're just about there on an action plan, which we plan to present to the city council. And hopefully, if we can get that adopted, we will run right into implementation.
Joey, what are some of the elements of that? What are some of the things that you think, as an experienced traffic engineer, that we could do, or the changes that could be made that would help reduce the number of severe accidents we're having?
It is really all over the board. So it is going to, this is something that's going to be a multidisciplinary approach. It is going to take all of us. It is going to take effort from law enforcement. It is going to take effort on the communication side to really do a great messaging campaign to get this out. It is going to take things on the political side. We're going to need to change some policy. You know, one of the things that's out there right now is, are we going to do photo enforcement? You know, that's a touchy subject, but it's something we're talking about on all levels. We have to do more. On the traffic safety side, how are we going to redesign roads such that they are safer for all users, not just for automobiles? How are we going to move everyone? Not just cars.
It's such a good point, Joy. So many of the fatal accidents involve a pedestrian, and that's something that we've got to get figured out as well.
It is.
So, and I know, Councilman, people are trying to get out on their bicycles. They're trying to get out to walk and be more active physically, but you don't want to put your life in danger doing that either.
It's the most consistent concern that I get from people calling our office or me. Is about traffic safety. And so that I always feel comfortable saying we have the very best and brightest working on it here at the city, and Joey's incredibly responsive, our team's incredibly responsive. But they're bad drivers out there, and that's a real challenge because the roads are designed, the lights are up, but we still have people that are breaking laws. And at some point we have to figure out how to stop people from breaking laws.
Joey's working on it from the safety perspective. Joey, Councilman's point, people will say, you know, the drivers are going too fast on this street, or we need a light here, we need a speed hump there, or speed bump. Tell everybody the process. I mean, obviously you and your team listen to those complaints, but then just don't go out willy-nilly and start putting up signs or bumps or whatever. You go through an analysis, right, to figure out what's the most appropriate for that concern.
Correct. So last year, my team on the engineering side here at City Hall, we did over 400 studies in response to such inquiries or concerns. And then our field operations team did nearly 12,000 work orders.
I had no idea, really.
We were very busy. you said I'm the rock star. No, my team is the rock. They are the rock stars. They are extremely busy looking at these things. But we cannot just go out and do these things. We have to make data-driven decisions
Exactly.
in order to justify the solutions that we are putting into place. So when someone calls with a concern, first thing we go out and put eyes on it. We determine, okay, is there a problem here? Is there not? Do we need to collect some data in order to make a decision here? Sometimes we collect traffic volumes. We can collect speeds.
Right,
We look
right.
at crash history. Sometimes we'll collect lighting levels. You know, maybe it's too dark. We watch traffic pattern. A lot can be learned from just watching what's happening out there. You know,
Yeah.
that was the Alta and Rainbow. A lot of it was just we watched what was happening, and it was very evident what was going on. We were able to fix it, and no problem. So we do that. We collect the data, we analyze it, and then we come up with countermeasures or not. That
Based on what the data tells
based
you.
on what the data
Right.
tells us, we make a decision, and then we make a plan, and we either implement it. If it's something that we can do, low-hanging fruit in-house with our TIFO staff, we go ahead and we get that done. If it's something that maybe is a heavier lift or it's going to take longer time or more of an investment, we get it on a plan for a future project,
Well,
or we
good.
add it to one of our safety master plans, or maybe it's something that doesn't need to be done right now, but we want to watch it. Then we put it on one of our master plans so that we periodically look at it from time to time and make sure we catch it when it is time to do it.
I would tell you one of the strange parts of being an elected official is you can go to a room full of people and everyone will be chanting for speed humps in their neighborhood. Inevitably, as you walk out, someone's going to pull you aside and say, can you please don't put speed bumps in because I have a bad back. And then there'll be 10 other people that have that same issue. It's a very complicated issue because people feel very strongly about what kind of traffic measures are in their neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
So Joey and her team do a great job, and data-driven decisions is the way to do it.
You know, I think that's the point in all this, is that obviously they listen to the concern, but then they're going to look at all the data and the information and make the decision that's going to be safest for everyone in that situation. So, well, Joey Paskey, great to have you on the program. Again, keep up the great work in the city. We're proud of you. And Councilman, I know that she saved you a lot of times at these meetings.
Every time. There's no meeting I go into where she doesn't.
Okay. Well, everyone out there, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilman Knudsen or Joey Paskey in our safety engineering office, you can always find our information on Facebook and Twitter. Councilman, for example, is on there. And of course, you can pick up the phone, 702-229-6405, to reach his office or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov, and he or one of his great staff will get back to you. They'll also put you in touch with whomever at the city is the appropriate person to answer your questions. So both of you, thanks so much. Councilman,
you,
we'll have
David.
you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 1. Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Again, thanks for being on the
Thank you.
program. Again, keep up the good work. So everyone, don't miss our next show beginning on May 5th with Ward 3 City Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire now. And also watch for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.